300 guests watched the engagement toast begin. Halfway through, the bride's companion said 4 words that stopped the room. The groom set down his glass, turned to face her directly, and asked her, in front of everyone, to say them again.
Renwick Hall belonged to the Earl of Ashbourne, though not for much longer if the settlement went through as written. Beside him stood Miss Honoria Vane, titled, charming, and privately relieved that no one had asked whether she wanted this marriage at all. Behind them both stood Clara Meredith, companion, paid to be useful, and paid just as much to be unseen. Clara straightened the settlement papers on the side table, squaring the edges out of habit. She had read this document 3 weeks earlier, by accident, left open on a desk she'd only meant to dust. It did not arrange a marriage. It arranged a debt. Ashbourne's late father had borrowed heavily from Honoria's family for a decade. The marriage would settle the debt, whether or not the couple ever shared a single ordinary morning together. The settlement did not require the marriage to be real, only recorded. Renwick Hall was the collateral.
Clara had understood, reading it, that she was watching a man sign away his home to a woman who didn't want him either. The room went quiet in a slow wave, guests turning toward the settlement table before they understood why. Ashbourne crossed the room without hurrying, picked up the letter Clara had just straightened, and held it toward her instead of toward his own bride. "You've read it," he said. "Say what it said." "It doesn't require a marriage," Clara said. "Only a signature. The house transfers whether you're married in truth or married on paper." A sound moved through the crowd. Not gasps, something quieter and worse. Honoria's father went white. Honoria herself did not look surprised. She looked for the first time all evening, unburdened.
"I knew," Ashbourne said, and the room went stiller still. "I've known for 6 weeks. I left it on that desk on purpose." Honoria's aunt reached them first, hissing that this humiliation would ruin 2 families by morning. Ashbourne didn't flinch. "It ruins one family's leverage," he said. "That's a different thing entirely."
Clara tried to step back into the crowd. He shifted half a pace, closing the gap without touching her. She tried again, insisting she'd overstepped, that a companion had no place naming a settlement in front of 300 guests. "You had every place," he said. "You were the only honest witness in the room, and I made certain you'd be standing close enough to become one. You wanted me to find it. I wanted someone to say it who had nothing to gain from saying it."
"That's rarer than you'd think in my life. What else haven't you told me?" He didn't answer that. Not yet. "I don't know why I let it go this far," he admitted quietly. "That's the truer confession, if you want one." She came to his study 4 days later to return the household keys. Not for him. The room was small and plain. Cold fireplace, 1 lamp, more books than furniture. "You used me," she said, not angrily, just plainly, "as your honest witness. I may have lost my position for it. Companions who embarrass a household don't stay employed." "I know," he said. "I thought of that after, which shames me more than I'd like to admit." He was quiet long enough that she believed she'd been right about all of it.
"I have spent 11 years being agreed with," he finally said. "Every room I enter rearranges itself around whatever I already think, before I've finished thinking it. You read 300 pages of settlement language, found the one clause built to ruin me quietly, and said the true thing about it while everyone I know was watching.
I am tired, Miss Meredith, of being surrounded by people who tell me only what I want to hear.
I would like to know what else you've noticed. About this house, about my ledgers, about me. She set the keys down on his desk, edges squared, and left without answering. The settlement was voided within the week. Honoria's father lacked the standing to enforce a debt against a marriage that had never legally required affection, only paper, and paper can be refused. Honoria left for her family's estate, and before she went, she found Clara alone in the corridor. "Thank you for saying what I couldn't," she said, and meant it. She looked, Clara thought, like a woman set down after carrying something heavy a long while. Clara kept her position.
Ashbourne began asking her opinion on the estate ledgers openly, in front of his staff, as though her judgment were simply a fact of the household now. 12 days later, a letter arrived. 1 page, 1 paragraph, ending,
"You were right to read it closely. I would like you to keep reading mine, if you'll have me."
She read the line 4 times. The smile that followed was not small. The next toast was held in the same room, the same 300 chairs. Ashbourne set down his glass deliberately this time, in full view of every guest, and crossed the room the way he had once before, except now the room understood exactly why. Clara didn't wait behind the table. She stepped forward first and named what this toast was actually for before he could. The first time, the truth had cost her a household. The second time, it built her one.
Thank you for staying until the very end of this one. Next week, a governess, a locked drawer, and a name that was never supposed to be inside it. Stay close.